gentlemen, I would request our moderator, Mr. Abhijit Chakraborty, PwC from our knowledge partner to take this. Now I would request our speakers to please be on stage. Mr. Purushottam Jaina, Zonal Manager, Bank of India. Mr. Purushottam Jaina.
Mr. Purushottam Jaina.
Dr. Kuldeep Maiti, Managing Director, VFS Capital. Mr. Gaurav Bhandari, Business Development, Awaaz De. Mr. Prashanjit Maji, DGM IDBI Bank. Sir, take your seat. I would request our speaker, Mr. Narendra Nayak, CEO OSAFI, to come and take the seat.
Madam, aap samne aaye.
I would request another speaker, Vijendra Kumar Mishra, AGM PNB, Punjab National Bank.
Samne aso. Apne phone mein aaye.
You should be careful, okay? Don't fall.
Achhi karna.
Like that, I'm taking them. I'm taking it. You don't want to wait.
By moving, pushing back, After be careful, okay? You are almost in the edge.
So we are waiting for Mr. Dr. Maiti, then we can start our session. I would request Dr. Kuldeep Maiti, MD of VFS Capital, to take the seat.
Mr. Chakraborty should be. Anyway, it's a short place. Be cooperative with that. Okay, CEO of OSAFI, State Association of Malaysia. We have included that. So you can call him Mr. Naik, right? You have the other list also. Yeah. And Mr. Purushottam Jaina, Pankaj Kumar Bharati replaced his AGM. His AGM Bank of PNB. Right? So I'm keeping it.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Swati, and we again welcome you all to the 7th Eastern India Microfinance Summit 2023, organized by AMFI West Bengal. I am extremely delighted to be the host for this summit, and I address you all. We thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. So, we have a time constraint, so we will directly start with the panel discussion now.
Request all the stalls to keep quiet for the session.
So kindly maintain a silence here. We will have a session, panel discussion here. So the session is about role of emerging technologies and digital rails in enabling transformation for MFIs. I would request our moderator, Mr. Abhijit Chakraborty, to take the session.
Thank you, Pratik. And Happy New Year and good afternoon to everyone. And welcome to this extremely important session, the overall transformation of this AMFI industry. And it's my honor and opportunity to probably host this kind of eminent panelists in our within us. Without wasting any time, because I think there's a real scarcity of the time. Maybe Satish is a kind of a 30 minutes time we can get. So, if I just start with on the definition of financial inclusion from World Bank, which talked about that it is actually a means through which individual and business have access to useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs, transactions, payments, savings, credit, insurance, delivered in a responsible and sustainable way. So I'll probably start a very generic question from all of you to hear your perspective on this overall responsible and sustainable way through digital. What is your take on that? And it's as an ecosystem where we have bankers, we are SRO, we are the fintech as well as the financial institute, the AMFI. So I think everybody has their own unique view on that how digital is really transforming our day-to-day life in this industry. So maybe if we can start with Mr. Gena.
Thank you, sir. I feel honored to be here to be part of the important event. Myself, Prashanjit Maji, currently working with IDBI Bank. Sir, on this topic, role of digital technology in the evolving development of microfinance. The emergence of, thank you. The emergence of digital technology in the microfinance sector in India over the last decade has been fueled by the internet revolution and the increasing mobile penetration across rural markets. So basically the journey of the MFI sector took a transformation shift within the introduction of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana in 2014, which helped us to cover the rural India with the banks, and Digital India program by Government of India, eKYC with the help of Aadhaar. So basically, sir, the discussion topic we can divide it into three parts: how technology is currently leveraged, and what are the hindrances in the implementation of digital technology and the future roadmap. First, I just, from a banker's point of view, I just want to tell that technology is currently leveraged by in the ecosystem of microfinance by the lenders, regulators, distribution channel, and credit information companies like Equifax, CIBIL, etc. And the key elements of the microfinance value chains are in the sourcing part, onboarding, risk assessment, loan disbursement, product management, loan management, and collection. From a banker's point of view, in IDBI Bank, we are with MFIs in Eastern India by way of correspondence, banking correspondence, corporate BC, and direct lending also for on lending purpose of MFI. So we are financing MFIs to grow digitally because we are having a system of digitally transferring money to directly to the actual lender. Then in the sourcing parts, what we can do like geo mapping, artificial intelligence, behavioral science, and data analytics to source the correct borrower. In onboarding part, we are having a Aadhaar linked KYC, video identification, DG locker, and AI technologies. In the risk assessment parts, like credit underwriting, credit rating has been introduced, and risk assessment model has been introduced to detect the frauds in the systems. In loan disbursement part, directly NEFT, IMPS, Aadhaar enabled payment system, cashless disbursement has been introduced. In product management also, MFIs can leverage the digital technology for product designing and more competitive products to give the benefit to the actual beneficiaries. In loan management, like loan servicing and monitoring, unified payment interface UPI has give a boost to the actual beneficiaries, and Aadhaar Pay and NACH has helped the bank as well as MFI to actually leverage the technology. In collection also, loan repayment has been boost with the help of digital technology. But sir, there are some hindrance. The hindrance mainly we can say digital adaptation. Digital adaptation means limited understandings of the banking infrastructure and digital service available to the all the parts of the ecosystem. The human touch is very important. When we are saying digital technology is important, but we can remember that MFI is all about human touch. That group dynamics, group discussion, it is very important aspects of MFI because this will help us to collect the money. And all the SHG and GLG structure should be retained the way it is, even after digital transformation. Because in group discussion, peer pressure is the main things which actually help us to repay the loan. Another thing is that in very rural parts of India, like northeastern sector of India, the poor infrastructure is hindrance because internet cannot be reached there. So this can be another factor. And regulation means the recent data protection bill that may be a hindrance because that may hinder the MFI to give all the data to lenders like banks. So future roadmap, the CQIC onboarding centers.
Sorry to interrupt. Maybe we can discuss on that.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Because if you can
Yeah.
really hear
Yeah.
the other views on that.
Thank you, sir. Thank
So,
you.
sir, as an SRO, what is your take? Like everyone is talking about the digital transformation in this MFI.
Thank you, sir. Myself, Narendra Naik, I work in OSHAP, Odisha State Association of Financial Inclusion Institutions like AMFI in West Bengal. And we are also an association of MFI, NBFC, MFIs, NBFCs, small finance banks. Those who are operating in all the districts in Odisha. And they are basically, providing the microcredit services to the poor women at their doorsteps. But over a period of time, this technology they have started utilizing. As you know, technology can play a greater role in providing the financial services or expanding the financial services to the nook and corner of any state or any in India. So. In the morning, we have seen that we are only so far reached to 30% of the market, and there are a long way to go. Like 70% of the market is still there. We have to reach there. All the MFIs, all the banks, all the small finance banks, fintech, they have the role there. So, in order to reach this 70%, remaining 70% of the market or the clients, those who are deserving really our financial services, we need to bring out some innovations, and that innovation will come from technology, use of technology. So this technology, whatever is coming up every day, India is well known for its IT and technology. And microfinance industry should be opening up itself to use those technology in order to provide the services to the last miles. So that is what very, very important of technology that it can play a role in reaching out to. So far, I think MFIs, they have been able to provide the loan disperse their loan online, but the collection of loans are still there. I think 30, 40, 15 to 50%, not even 15%, they are collecting the loans from the digitally from the clients of but there are also reasons because the clients that we are working or our MFIs members are working are mostly rural. They stay in the remote area. Like sir said, there are many of this area, they don't have the connectivity, rural connectivity. Internet is very, very blinking. So that way they are not able to get this collection up to the mark. So maybe use of advanced technology, internet facilities, Of course, government is providing the facilities, banks, NABARDs, SIDBI is supporting, others technology, line department, they are also coming up with the support. With it expanded, then definitely we can reach out to the remaining number of clients and also provide them the services in a very comfortable, convenient manner. So I have visited once to the other countries like African countries. They are very advanced. We are known for our IT and our infrastructures in India, but they are much more advanced in so far as the payment over this digital repayment is concerned. So maybe we can learn from them or other countries, those who are there, and apply that in our context so that maximum number, we can reach out to maximum number and clients will be benefited out of that. The challenges are there definitely. MFIs are very good there to solve these challenges and apply the innovative way to reach out to them. So it is very, very important for MFIs to banks and financial service providers that the digitization is required over here. Thank you.
Thank you. And probably one of the important aspects what you were talking about the global examples, as you're talking about that in Africa, right? In Kenya, we have seen that it's a more kind of a telecom-based model, and as we also hear in the morning that in India, it's a transformation happened for last probably 30 to 40 years, where from the bank-led model now we are trying to diversify that under a proper protection from the regulation, that how we can design the new products and services. Now on that note, probably I'll go to Mr. Mishra. From bank point of view, right, as we are talking about, everyone talking about the domestic banking, to this outreach.
Little loudly, it's not audible.
Okay, sorry. From the outreach program point of view, can you share your probably example that how PNB is thinking about that, whether it's a bank correspondent model or is there any other different model through which obviously leveraging technology they will reach the marginalized people in our society?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, Happy New Year to all of you. And let me accept it and tell the entire audience that this is the first kind of forum I am participating. And I am really excited to participate in this kind of forums, but this is the first one. So far as this PNB is concerned, technology, we have many of maybe PNB account holder. They must be observing that we have one app called PNB One. So PNB One is an app wherein you will be getting every kind of facilities in one single app. And they are also on daily basis we keep on developing it. And recently we have added PAPL, means if your score and turnover is good in the savings account even. So you are getting a personal loan on one tap basis. I mean, there are 4 steps. You can go on and click, and you will get the personal loan credited to your savings account immediately. So then other side, internet banking which we are using, and it is it's not a new, but it's a kind of that on regular basis we keep on developing in it. Some facilities earlier was not there, which has been added now. And some facilities which we feel redundant, we keep it out of the internet banking itself. So those kind of working PNB is continuously doing. And now to add on one point, I will say that this basically all these banking facilities which we are doing on smart banking, smartphone basis. So many of us are aware that RBI has launched recently digital currency, digital rupee, which probably it's not required that you should have a smartphone. Pilot basis it's run, basically say 7 to 8 bankers are there. So gradually if it is implemented on a mass basis, so it will be added value for MFIs for repayment and linking of the bank account directly to the MFI lending platform as well. So that is what a prospective looking forward. And further to the same, so far as MFI lending is concerned, we are already into it since long. And recently we are trying to get the applications through pnbindia.in itself. And in case you are applying that through pnbindia.in, then you will be getting, if you are having a choice of the branches, you can select it. If you don't have, then it will go to central level, and it will be based on the residence address. It will keep on mapping to the said branches. So said branch will call you and will give the loan based on the criteria. Similar ways we have adapted for education loan, West Bengal State credit card, so entire gamut of loans you can avail it online basis. So what is basic intention of PNB is to give a customer entire gamut of banking based out of their home only. You need not have come to the branches as people used to see in across, say for example in 2000 or 90s. You have to come to the branch, then you open a savings account. Even savings account, we are opening it through tab banking. On daily basis, we are trying to get at least one or two account, whatever savings account are getting opened in our branches, we try to keep it through tab banking only. And immediately within half an hour, you will get a savings account. And next day, you will start transacting. So these are all the technology we are adapting, and our board always keep on trying to improve upon the same as in different bank it is also happening. So these are all basic developments in PNB. There is a threat, like all we are aware that some privacy protection bill is coming up. So that is a challenge maybe to the AMFI as well as to the banking industry, how to protect the data, because as on date we are protecting data through our own internal systems. Then we have to check what are the clauses, how it should be kept protected, the personal data, so that it should not be leaked, because the compensation level or requirement will be higher compliance level. So far as MFI is concerned, maybe as in the morning session we are discussing, some 6 crores people are there who are the customers of the MFI. Whereas the entire smart banking customers are only 10 to 15%, as was discussed in the morning. I don't have any right data. So there is a entire, there is a long, you can say long gap in the availability and the people who are adaptability. So that needs to be kept. Thank you.
Thank you. And it is quite insightful information about how PNB is helping on the digital inclusion. Now I'm coming to Dr. Maityan. As we all know, the pioneer, especially driving this digital inclusion in Eastern India. My question is that since you are into this whole ecosystem for a long time, what is your take on the new product design? Because everyone talking about the hyper personalization, right? This customer segment is quite diverse in nature. Their need is also different. Now, what is your thought that digital, or maybe as we're talking about the different technology intervention, through that technology intervention, is it possible that you can create a hyper personalized product for the society?
Very good afternoon to all. I represent VFS Capital, which is one of the oldest microfinance institution in this part. So we are in the sector for about more than 25 years. And I think as MFI, whoever it is, I think we always play a role of a teacher. 20 years back, we only talked about illiteracy. So our role was to make them literate. So our main focus was to convert that illiterate customer to make them sign, at least they can sign their name. So next stage was financial literacy. So we talked about a lot of financial literacy, how to use the funds, the purpose, interest rate and everything. So now this is the time where we are taking again the responsibility to make them digitally literate. So I think every time we are playing a role of a teacher, and fortunately we are always successful teacher. So that's the best part of any microfinance institutions. And why we are talking about we are always successful, because the commitment what we have, and that commitment from top to bottom, I think any MFIs are successful because of the people who are working in the bottom level. And they are taking the responsibility of implementation, whatever policy we do take. Digital, I think nobody can, ignore that this is the future. And whether we like it or we don't like it, we have to accept it. So sometimes we are sitting on an edge where sometimes if you are going for any kind of transaction, all of a sudden there will be a pop-up in your computer that prove that you are not a robot. We always do that. So just give me the tick where are the signals, traffic signals. So now we are sitting in an age where we have to prove that we are human, we are not robot. So by default, they think that we are robot. So I think, so that's a long journey we have done, and everything happens in microfinance also. So we talked about how fast we can reach to the customer, and this generation of microfinance customer, they are very tech savvy. Whether they have the bank account or not, but they are having the Facebook account, I am sure. And they are very active in the Facebook, they are very active in the lot of social medias, and they know, I mean, even my son know how to operate a smartphone than me. So I think we have to encash that technology, and this generation is very sharp. I think they are very focused about what they want to do. And this generation, this microfinance generation I am talking about, they also understood that if I am taking loan and using for the consumption purpose, so this is bad for me. And their focus is how fast I can get the loan. I think there is that's the role of a technology can play. So now, RBI has allowed for a lot of things, differential rate of interest, considering the risk factor. I think their digital or technology can help us to take the right decision, considering the risk factor. I mean, maybe risk factor of the state, maybe risk factor of the particular trade, the data what is available. So that's why so now we all depending on the data. So maybe this is the time where we are equally giving importance God and data both. So I think to us the data became God, we became numbers, and I think this is very important to adopt that technology as fast as possible. The microfinance is changing very fast. Not only microfinance, the lending technology is going very fast. 5 years, 10 years back, we hardly heard about this fintech companies. So now, fintech is everywhere. And we have to adopt that change, and we have to change for the better future. I think that's all as an introductory things. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And probably you have pointed out two very important parts. One part is being teacher for this society, and this is very important. And I wish that we get more and more teachers in this field. And second part, when you were talking about that importance of the fintech, and probably the best part would be that we have a representative from innovative fintech player, and they are actually working on this financial literacy. We are talking about how we can actually help the people to become literate on the financial aspect, right? Not to probably influenced by the local influencer, a kind of a neutral role to play. So I'll come to Gaurav to probably know your views that how Avasde is actually solving the problem of this financial literacy.
Thank you, Abhijit. Dr. Mehdi mentioned about the teacher. So teacher also requires students. So I think Avasde is in that sense a student. And after hearing IDBI, SRO from Odisha, as well as another bank, and a microfinance institution. So before I say anything about Avasde, as an industry practitioner, I would like to say that in a country like India, I would rather use the word Bharat. In Bharat, we have almost 60 to 70% of smartphone penetration, mix of urban, in rural India. And in rural India, we have about 40% internet coverage. Now, with this kind of data points, as well as microfinance industry is looking at achieving 40-50% out of the 10 lakhs in next 2-3 years, all those statistics. The major problem which all of these institutions is likely to face is how do we engage with the customer in an omni-channel communication way? How do we engage with the customer, in especially the unreached customer? So many speakers now in the past, in the first half, have spoken about it, including Mr. Ghosh, Mr. Nambia, Dr. Alok, everybody spoke about it. So the only way other than offline ways of reaching out through your network or branches, etc., loan officers, credit officers, is by leveraging technology. Though I represent a financial technology company, but it's important for us to humbly recognize the fact that microfinance industry is going to be an optimum mix of high touch as well as high tech. The ratio of this maybe right now is high touch is 70%, high tech is 30%, but this ratio will keep changing as we will progress over the years to come. 70-30 may become 50-50, may become 40. So there will be like a seesaw, it will be like a seesaw. So both will coexist and technology will be acting as an enabler to the microfinance industry. In the same way, a center meeting is equally important because you want to maintain the discipline of those borrowers, women borrowers coming to that center meeting. So with this, I would just like to introduce Awaz De. Awaz De is one of the co-sponsors here. We have not put a booth because we believe in using our Awaz, right? So Awaz De is a technology company exclusively working in the microfinance sector, where we have partnered with banks like Axis Bank, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, small finance banks, public sector, private sector banks, microfinance institutions like Satin, etc., many others, IIFL Samastha, and where we are sending out automated vernacular calls in a language which the borrower understands. We are sending it across in 11 different vernacular language, Kannada, Punjabi, etc. And we are sending out different use cases, like for example, transactional calls, reminding a customer to make the EMI payment. If the customer has not made the EMI payment, reminding the customer that look, you have not made the payment. If you are ready with your cash, press 1. If not, press 5. Like that, we have realized as the MFI industry is evolving, especially with the liberalized regulations announced effective 1st April 2022, MFIs are also looking to, or the JLG model is also looking to grow by introducing new products. So we realize that we will have to help enable these players, financial institutional players, to promote new products. And then we realize that if the digital payment penetration is about 15-20%, actually that is too high, I would say. Can we help in some way? So we introduced a new use case where a call goes out to the customer, and with that nudge, immediately with that call nudge, a customer gets an SMS with the UPI link, and customer can pay the digital payment as well. Now, overnight things will not change, but yes, through a collaborative approach by the technology players like us, or for that matter, Craft Silicon, Legality, through this collaborative approach, we all can provide a cohesive solution to this industry, such that this optimum mix of high touch and high, technology will always remain. And perhaps this is the best way to coexist and enable these institutions to grow. I think I'll probably end here and take further questions later.
Yeah, thanks. And I think your hours will definitely go to this audience and beyond that. And I'm hopeful that when you're talking about this vernacular language, Bengali also should be there, because
Bengali is there, sir.
Okay. Now, as we are talking about digital rails, right, as a part of this overall innovation in this digital transformation, I'll just bucket these digital rails into two parts. One part is the data rails, another part is the transaction rails, right? Now, when you are talking about the data rails, everyone is now talking about data, and data is now new oil, right? And in the morning itself, I really like that term DR, right? And in that part, when you're talking about the data rails, from the bank perspective, I probably ask both of you, maybe if you can just briefly talk about, in the data rail point of view, how banks are using the data to probably create a model on the risk management. Because as we are talking about everybody from the lending point of view, there is always a kind of a goes in a back of your mind that whether we'll get paid or not, right? So it is not about the collection point of view, it is about the intent of that borrower, right? Whether they will pay or not. Now, since we are actually capturing data across the different ecosystem, what are the different models you are thinking to create a risk management around that in terms of this overall underwriting process?
Sir, actually, data can be used to leverage the characteristic of the particular borrower. Like if a borrower open a saving account in a particular bank, then we can identify the capacity of the borrower, how many times he or she is depositing in the account, and what is the withdrawal rate, and whether the borrower is or the customer is withdrawing in cash or he or she using the different digital channel to pay the dues, and what are the different types of withdrawal he or she is doing, whether it is business related or personal consumption related. So in our bank particular, we are having a customer relationship value management system where automatically pop-up is generated from the system that this customer may be the potential borrower for your such particular type of loan. Like he or she may be a credit card customer or a microfinance borrower or a business loan like MSME, small MSME loan, or that may be a higher loan. So when we got a particular data from the pop-up from the system, then we have to contact the borrower. Then further, if we approve the first step, then it will go to the second step. When particular PAN number will be taken from the customer, that will help us to generate the CIBIL, means credit characteristic of the customer. If a CIBIL, CIBIL in a normal CIBIL there are -1 also, and upper scale is what are the numbers? If more, the customer is good. If a customer is -1, then we are restricting the customer to give the loan within a certain limit, like up to 10 lakh, like Mudra loan or something. And other banks are also doing giving this type of loan. If a customer is having a good credit score, it means it reveals that the credit characteristic of the customer is good and he or she is able to pay the loan. You are telling about the repayment capacity. The repayment capacity reflects in the credit scoring, in credit score of the customer by CIBIL. In AMFI also, we are having different type of credit bureau to get the score of the customer. If a customer getting multiple finance from various banks, that is also reflected in that type of model, because this data can be multi-dimensional data that can be extracted from various data aggregator. Like for bigger companies, we are extracting data from the various credit organization, like CRISIL also we are getting rating history. That is for bigger borrower. So this data-driven model is really helpful to understand the credit underwriting, repayment capacity of the borrower, and the type of loan what can be given to the borrower. So digitalization of banking is helpful always for the banker and to give the immediate requirement of the borrower. This is my views.
Yeah. So maybe while you are talking about your bank story, maybe if you can highlight like for this creditworthiness of this borrower, right? May not be a lot of primary data is available. So for that point of view, are you also looking for some kind of a secondary data, like that particular borrowers, how they are paying their utility bills. So there is an infrastructure from the BBS point of view, right? I mean, through which you can also collect that data and create a model around that, the risk management model. Hello, sir, please.
You actually didn't know that they carry session.
No.
You are sitting there. So please announce that.
So, would you like to introduce yourself? That will be great.
I am Purushottam Jena, General Manager, Bank of India, Parasat. So sorry, actually, I was waiting there. Actually, I was thinking that session will start, and I thought that why the session 2 started. Then I asked him that actually says, I think you missed that session and I am leaving. So he told me the session is going on. So sorry for the interruption and
You can ask him the maybe 10-15 minutes we can stay.
Actually, we are looking after Narcotica, Bangladesh district and Nadia district. We have 76 branches and we are also presence and we are directly financing to SCG sector. So this is all about regarding my introduction and what by organizing myself. And I am also a regional director of Professional Risk Management International Association of Kolkata chapter. We have a Kolkata chapter that is inaugurated in May, and I am looking after its operation and risk management, risk certification, qualifications.
I think you have probably come on the right time when we were talking about the risk management. So maybe you can continue, then we can probably take the same question to Mr. Jena on that.
Hello. Working. Actually, in PNB, what I have told earlier that we have a facility of pre-approved personal loan that I already have told. That is basically on an analysis of the credit routine and withdrawal transactions, as sir already elaborated. So based on that, it is already inputted in the system that a pop-up will come up that you are eligible for this loan, and it is instantly getting credited. That is already available. So based on the transactions, we are also having a pre-qualified credit card that is also based on the transactions only. And next is housing loan. Say for example, one housing loan borrower is 12 months old. So based on the past track record, we keep on updating his entire transactions, his or her entire transactions, so that he or she would be able to get other facilities. And the similar kind of facilities, we keep on updating him in his mobile or through mail ID, so that in case of need, he will be able to opt it for. And similarly, there are combo facilities, like if you are having housing loan, you can have a credit card, or you are having good track record of personal loan, then you can have a housing loan. So all that there. But basically, this depends upon the savings account or current, in case of business, that is current account operations modus operandi. As you are asking one very good point that I'll tell, like electricity bill payment on those areas. Let me very honestly accept it. We are the second largest bank in India, nationalized bank. So we keep on working development of the information technology. So these are the decisions which usually takes care at the corporate level, HR level, board level. So there are specific team who used to look into these aspects. Maybe they would be coming up with certain ideas, like based on the electricity bill or telephone bill, you can have a personal loan. But exactly at this moment, what is happening in the board's level, that I am not aware of exactly. But definitely, since you have already suggested, and there might be because we have tie-up with various fintech companies, like sir is there. So other companies might be, we must be having a tie-up on this kind of analysis. Because it cannot be said that only based on the savings account transactions, because if I am going only savings account transactions, then I am keeping the person who is not a customer of my bank out of my loan facility. So in case I am taking the data analysis of the electricity bill or telephone bill, and based on that, if I can provide something, so that is a further addition to the new customers to our fold.
Absolutely.
So maybe that is a board level discussions. I will not be able to exactly comment upon these areas, but these are the facilities which are based on the data analysis we are offering for.
Fantastic. And in fact, when we are actually also having a discussion with the different banks and financial institutions, it is also important, right? The behavioral analysis for an individual, it is not just reflected from that banking data itself, right? I mean, it's a day in, day out what they are doing, and all these footprint are available in this overall. We talk about social media, we talk about aggregator, the framework, everybody, the data is there, right? So maybe, Mr. Jena, I would like to ask on the similar front, right? From the digital rail point of view, we're talking about the data rails. There's another part is what is the transaction rails, right? And when they were talking about the transaction rails, everybody now is talking about open API, right? So, and it is now a kind of a buzz, the open API. So, it is all about how we can meaningfully extract the data from the system to create the different product and services working with the fintech. It is not about the bank responsibility to create all those products, because there is a lot of pressure from the regulatory point of view, where fintech has a more kind of level they can working. So is there any example or any experience where banks are working with the fintech on these transactions rails?
Over the decades, we find that internet revolution and mobile penetrations, then that Jan Dhan accounts, all these have come, and along with that GST. So we are working on a platform like PSP 50C in 9 minutes loan, where we work along with the industry, where we can assess the information from the account information, the GST information, then IT. Then on there is a artificial intelligence which then monitors, then there is a credit bureau check. So by that way we onboard the customers, and the customers are pre-approved. And once it is pre-approved financially, so we only inspect the rest of the things, inspection, and if there is any collateral, or if there is no collateral, then what are the basic purpose and objectivity for which loan is taken. So by that way this innovation has come. And I think other things we can move forward by this way. Data is available and data the gold mine. So leveraging the data, we can find out the products, whatever the customer behavior, how they are behaving, at what purpose, and what is their repayment track record. And if this is a jam that Jan Dhan account, Aadhaar, mobile, and we combine it and we onboard the customers, then there will be artificial intelligence which can appraise the customer's applications and can sanction, and the amount can be, loan amount can be disbursed. So by that way digitalization and that technology, artificial intelligence can help, and this will be supplemented by UPI which is growing in manifold. I think UPI will also help in complete digitalization. That is in microfinance, that is the collection is manual, this is cash based. I think if we and in our bank we are also now propagating a model that is bank Sakhi, means one member from each SSG we are promoting to migrate to banking correspondence channel. So she can have a customer service point, and she can open the accounts of all the members and nearby members, and at that point they can deposit the cash, and from there also to starting instruction or UPI you can get the payment. So this complete digitalization can take place. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Maiti, I'll probably ask you on the same topic around that being a teacher, right? I mean, you have seen that every transformation also has a strong change management process, right? I mean, without change management, no transformation can actually see the day of light. Now, if I just really look at this high touch, right? Everyone is talking about this. We need a kind of a people face, whatever we can do on the technology stuff. Now, a combination of when you're talking about the digital, we expect the convenience. When we are actually interacting with people, we expect trust, right? So how the trust and the convenience can build into the overall change management process so that this financial inclusion is really drive its momentum in the future.
It's a tough question actually. Technology can be adapted. That's a very easy thing, and I think microfinance institutions also having the lot of data. So I mean, probably this is the only industry where we are uploading our data on a day-to-day basis to all the credit bureaus. So I mean, technology is fine, but trust is not a kind of capsule or tablets. So to have trust, it takes a lot of time, and only the team of microfinance institution, they create the trust. And if you believe, I mean, 1,000 crores of rupees we are disbursing only on trust. Actually, I mean, we don't have any collateral, nothing, anything. We don't have anything, but we trust that customer. That yes, I am giving her 30,000, 40,000 or 50,000 rupee loan, and I believe that that money will come back. So I think entire ecosystem of microfinance based on trust, and for them also, I always believe that whoever it is in the ground level, to a customer, they are like friend, philosopher and guide. So they don't talk about only finance. They even talk about if there is any health issues in the family, if there is anyone, I mean, maybe her daughter passed out higher secondary, she asked which stream I should give the admission. So I think that's a role we are playing, and that's absolutely the trust factor we are having. And once somebody is trusting you, then you become more responsible. When I believe that you are not trusting, then I don't have any responsibility. But when I am believing that you are trusting me, so I'll safeguard you like anything. So I think that's the highest things we have to take care, and we have to be more responsible, because technology can give you the error figure also. And like there are some instances I can tell you, like many years back, we had a health insurance, and so there are a lot of exclusions in the insurance factor. So I mean, there are many cases where the expenses was genuine, but it was deducted by that insurance company. But they believe whenever they had this product that okay, I am covered by say 50,000 rupees, so I'll get, if the expenses whatever it is, I'll get the 50,000 rupees, and that's the trust we have. So there was whatever gap amount was there, we paid from our own sources because we don't want to break that trust. So that is very, very important. And the only thing is that data can give you the kind of probability of default, data can give you what kind of loan she or he needs. But one thing we have to be very careful, it is not about the data what giving you the opportunity to business with that particular person. But as a lender, whether it's a bank, whether it's a NBFC, so it's my responsibility whether if I provide that loan, whether in future that borrower will become the over-indebted or not. Because today when we are offering a product, we may behave like a Oisara's Rai, but when there is a default for a one day, we should not behave like a Gita Dav.
In fact, probably on this part, when you're talking about the trust, maybe instead of I'm asking the question to Mr. Naik, it would be what would be the expectation from the AMFI point of view, the how SRO can actually help the overall growth of the society. So maybe if any question that what is your expectation from SRO, so that Mr. Naik can also address that. Any expectation that okay, what kind of a role SRO should play that would actually help this overall transformation?
if you ask any Indians, ki, what are the expectations you have, so there will be 100 number of expectations. So I think it will be very difficult to fulfill all the expectations. But you know, at least SRO is playing a very, very crucial role. I think they are the extended arms of regulator, Reserve Bank of India, and SRO basically the Association of Microfinance Institutions. So they knows the actual problem we face, the challenges, the opportunities, everything, which is may not be understood by the regulator sometimes, because they are from the macro level of view. So I think they are playing a vital role, and fortunately, and we are very lucky enough that all the SROs in India in microfinance sector, they are playing excellent job. I think whatever issues we are facing, they are passing that message to RBI. A lot of representation happening on a regular basis, and the changes what happened recently, even the code of conduct what we are following, the new recent rules and regulations, these are the, I think, results of the effort they have given as a SRO, I think.
Mr. Nayak, if you can just comment on that.
I just wanted to add what Dr. Maiti said, that this technology is adopted, but trust needs to be cultivated over a period of time. And that practice that MFI adopts, like every morning they go, any loan officer, he or she, almost spends maximum time with the clients, with the members. What? He or she becomes a kind of members, family members of those clients, if she or he is asked to work with 500. So by practice, by demonstration, by her or his behavior, she is cultivating every day the trust part of with the clients. That is one thing. Practice is there from the MFI parts. They start. Second thing is already, I mean, we said that code of conduct and best practices, client protection principles, all are being provided and they are being signatories to it. Each MFI, those who are in the lending business, lending activities in Odisha or in West Bengal, across the country, they have to sign that. They have already signed and they have agreed to adopt those principles while operating or offering the services. Nobody can shout at any member. They cannot go and attend the meeting very late. They cannot go after the twilight. They cannot go and ask loans. Nobody can go to their field if somebody is working and ask for money. So many are defined. And as an SRO, in the state or in the pan-India level, we, without fail, we conduct 2 training programs on the code of conduct for our staff, MFI members, MFIs. And wherever we visit, to the branch or to the district or to any clusters, we always give them a kind of encouragement to practice those code of conduct and best practices principles given by RBI, and also the client protection principles which are being agreed by them. So with this all conducive thing, I think we are hardly getting any complaints or any kind of thing, that resistance from the client's parts so far. And if something comes, immediately the concerned MFIs is being communicated that such and such thing has happened in such places, please take care of. At the same time, we also, as a part of the state association, we take our visit or we go to the talk to the branch or stakeholder to resolve that issue, so that it is kind of solved at the very beginning level. So that's where we are closely working with our members MFIs, and we are closely, as an SRO, we are adopting whatever the regulatory authority expects us to be adopted in the field while offering the services. Third thing, we are closely working with the district and police administration also. So that is another role that SRO state level associations they are playing with, because many of them are having misconceptions, so we all need to sensitize, educate them on that. So that way it is being training, orientation, as well as also education to the stakeholders are being done.
Thank you, sir. And for the positive time, I mean, it's a quite engaging session. So before we conclude, I probably ask the last question to Gaurav. Everybody talking about this financial inclusion. Now, this is now term coined as a digital inclusion, not the financial inclusion, because in 2021 for the Davos conference from the World Economic Forum, they have actually put the three pillars that what is the basic need of a human being on the three aspects: education, healthcare, and the financial part. Now, from the fintech point of view, how this whole adoption of healthcare, financial service, and obviously the education can combine in future, so that this digital inclusion actually reach to the marginalized people. It is not about just a financial, so what kind of a fintech story, what we can see in future, which also touch the education and healthcare, because as Dr. Maiti has said, Mr. Nayak has said that when any bank correspondents or the agents who are actually interacting with those people, they are not just talking about their financial need, they are also talking about their personal need, family need. So as a basic human need is already also drafted on that education and healthcare.
Thank you, Vijay. So the best part is that the exciting part, or the mysterious part, is that we are yet to, we are still knowing about our customer, right? Like you said, like all of the colleagues mentioned, we are still trying to understand what are the various needs. And the interesting part is we know that the rural consumer will have multiple needs, right? From healthcare, insurance, savings, remittance, etc. So there is a convergence which is happening, and already started happening, and this will further get accelerated with new disruptive innovations coming our way, like account aggregator. Even the role of PDP, that is data protection law, will play a very, very important role here. This trust will further get built up or strengthened with the PDP coming into play. There will be more pros, less cons. So this is the second point. And third point is that the customer is smarter, as Dr. Mehdi mentioned. And with more penetration of smartphones happening, as it is expected that by 2025-26, close to 1 billion population of India would have smartphones. Now that is around 80%, right? So again, it will always remain through this mix of high touch and high technology kind of a model. This collaboration will continue to happen and will get further scaled up.
Thank you.
We in fact have I think ICA Health or some insurance company over here. Hospi Cash company. We have, I think, insure tech companies like Zopper. So all of this has started already happening and gets scaled up further.
Thank you, Gaurav. And I know I am just sitting just between lunch and this session, so I'll not probably take further time. And it's quite an engaging session. And just to give a summary on that, it's a brighter future everyone is talking about, and we need to be a little bit sensible where we are talking about how to reach the customer and how we use that technology. And that financial inclusion happens that when we act, whoever the representative, whether it's the fintech, whether it's SRO or the banks, we need to be responsible, sensible, use the technology to move forward. Thanking you, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the engaging and enriching session. I would request all the dignitaries to remain seated, and I would request Mr. Ganesh Chandra Modak, Managing Director of Grameen Shakti, to give a token of appreciation to the panelists and the moderator.
He will be here. You have to one by one to come forward so that you can. Hey, you should have number.
So I would request sir to give the token of appreciation to Mr. Purushottam Jaina, ZN of the Bank of India.
পরে করছি। খুব এটা। সবাই একটু জোরে হাততালি। ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, এটা তার সঙ্গে প্লিজ একসঙ্গে দিয়ে দাও। ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে।
Now I would request to give the token of appreciation to Dr. Kuldeep Maiti, MD of VFS Capital.
আচ্ছা, এবার সন্তোষ কুমার ভারতী, you are Mr. His name is not here. His name is, you got him, no? Okay, fine.
Now I would request to give a token of appreciation to Mr. Gaurav Bhandari, VP of Awaaz Dev.
হাততালি জোরে।
Now the next is I would request sir to give the token of appreciation to Mr. Prashanjit Maji, Zonal IDBI Bank, DGM of IDBI Bank.
সবাই একটু জোরে হাততালি।
Next is to Mr. Narendra Nayak from CEO OSAFI.
OSAFI, for any small information, OSAFI is going to have their Odisha State Summit on 15th of February. 15th of February, all sponsor companies are requested to join there.
Thank you.
And the MFIs also, if I'm visiting.
Now I would request to give the token of appreciation to Mr. Vijendra Kumar Mishra, AGM PNB.
Okay, please.
Now I would request to give a token of appreciation to Mr. Abhijit Chakraborty, our knowledge partner PwC.
This for best, one of the best moderation. Anything else?
No sir, so we are closed. We will be now, lunch break is there, but there are 3 arrangements for the lunch. One is in the front lobby, back lobby, and the last is the tea lounge. So you can move accordingly.
And when we come back,
menu will be served, right?
yeah, but joint photograph, please. We are all, including Ganesh Babu, please go for the joint photograph. Thank you. That's nice. I think it's too short, this place. What is time now?